Hey guys, welcome back to the Babbling Boots YouTube channel, where we babble about boots. In today's video, we're going to be doing an unboxing of a pair of Meermin boots that I bought as part of their factory second sale towards the end of October. And this particular pair of boots is a little bit different from other boots that I reviewed on the channel. And in fact, it's really different than any other type of boot that I own. So I'm really excited to show you guys what it is. So let's get into it. So here's the box that it comes in, a standard Meermin box. But it's interesting because here somewhere, I can't see, it's in this area, it has an R on it, stamped on there. I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it means like reckons, like factory reckons. You know, it's a factory reckon sale. But it probably just means like rejected, really, I would have guessed. Like it's their quality control, so it was rejected. But, yeah, I don't know. So let's open it. Here is the first boot. Okay, here we are. So these are the two boots, well, pair of boots. It's two boots, but it's a pair of boots that I bought from Meermin. And these are in Heritage Shell Cordovan with a Norwegian Split-Toe. So a little bit about Heritage Shell Cordovan from Meermin. Well, I guess it's the lack thereof more than anything, because they don't tell you where this Shell Cordovan comes from. It's just an undisclosed tannery on their website. But what they will tell you is that it is an American family-owned tannery that does their Shell Cordovan tanning like the old-fashioned way, which is, I guess, like pit tanning and drum dyed. That's really the only information they give you on it. So it's an American tannery, which you can narrow it down to a few tanneries. Probably not Horween, because I think if it was Horween, they'd be advertising it more. Other than that, that's all I really know about the tannery, is that it is American tannery. And the color is Whiskey Shell Cordovan. And if you know, Horween, I think, does a Whiskey Shell Cordovan that a lot of people say is very pretty. This one also, to me, looks very pretty in the color. I think it will age. It already looks great, I think. It doesn't have a patina yet, but it already has a very beautiful depth of color, especially in the sunlight. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to age over time, because I do not have a whiskey pair of Shell Cordovan boots yet. So that's a little overview of the boots themselves. And as I mentioned, I did get these as part of the Meermin's factory second sale, which means all of the boots you buy in that sale are factory seconds. So I am curious to see what made these boots become factory seconds, because from the initial glance of unboxing them, they look very nice. I didn't see any noticeable flaws. So let's do the usual boot look around. The welt on this side looks very nice in the right boot towards the toe vamp and the toe box. The welt joint is also very clean on this one. Looks pretty clean on the outside. The outside of the right boot, the stitching does get pretty close to the edge, similar to the Viberg Chelsea boots that I reviewed recently. For whatever reason, a lot of my factory second boots, if they're factory seconds, they tend to have stitching that gets close to the edge for me. That's like a recurring trend I've noticed. But other than that, this little bit here coming close to the edge, which isn't too bad, I think is fine. This right boot looks very nice. There's not really any blemishes on the shell at all, which is one thing I was concerned about, that like there's going to be like a large splotch on shell. Sometimes will have like large areas where the pigment isn't really, I guess, soaked in all the way. But this one looks very nice. No issues there. It does have a leather outsole, Meermin branded, and it is like channeled and then hidden. So right boot looks good. So looking at the left boot for flaws, front part looks good, toe vamp. Stitching looks good. The welt joint's a little interesting though, and this is like the only thing that really stands out to me visually with either pair of boots, is this welt joint here looks kind of funky. It almost looks like, looking at it, because there looks like there's a stitch missing. It looks like, you know how I've talked about the needles getting very close to the edge, but a lot of these boots, they're just super close, so they don't actually kind of break through and hit the edge. This looks like the needle might have actually broken through to the edge of the boot here. You can see kind of, if I can get in the picture, there's like looks like a large, I don't want to say gash, but kind of a poke through. And I'm assuming what that is, you know, this is one where the needle actually did make it all the way through to the edge and poked down, so you can see it from the outside. And it looks like they might have just kind of repaired that with some kind of leather glue or some kind of bond, because it's closed up now. It's not like the leather's, you know, has a hole in it anymore. I think that's probably what happened here that made this a second pair of boots, which is fine to me, because I don't think that that's going to affect the quality of the boots. It's very much an aesthetic thing, and it's close to the inside welt joint of the left boot, so I don't really think it's even very noticeable, especially it's on the inside you're wearing on your feet. No one's going to notice that. So yeah, I think that's probably what caused these boots to be factory seconds. The stitch actually did fully careen off the edge and just poked straight through the leather, so you can see the stitch hole from the outside, because I don't think there's actually a stitch in there anymore. I think they probably like, oh, we kind of messed that up, and they just cut the stitch at the hole before that and then kind of sealed this one in, so that's probably why. As far as some of the other main components of the boot, this is Norwegian Split-Toe design. I guess designed in Norway at some point. It's very cool because it's kind of like, if you've ever seen all in indie boots, how they have the mock toe. It's very similar to a mock toe. I guess it kind of is a mock toe, but they also just have this little split in the toe box here, which I think is a pretty nice touch. It kind of gives it a more dressy vibe. You could probably really wear this with a suit or a pair of slacks, chinos, or even wear it down with jeans. It's really a very versatile boot, as long as you're not probably trying to wear it with something like shorts. As far as the outsole, this is a single leather outsole here. Looks like it's closed channeled, so they do basically, I believe, cut a little hole here in the outsole for the welt stitch, and then they kind of cover that back up with the leather, so it's basically a closed channel, whereas a lot of boots, you can actually see the threads on the bottom of it. They close the channel back up after it's been stitched. And this is a 360 degree storm welt construction, as you can see. It goes all the way around, and it has this little lip at the top. It does have 4 sets of speed hooks here. Looks like just kind of like some antique brass speed hooks, and they feel very sturdy. Pretty much all of the boots, speed hooks that I have for my boots, they all feel pretty sturdy. I haven't had any, say for like maybe Thursdays, that are a little bit, well, my early pair of Thursdays, they're a little bit weaker, where I might actually be worrying about them like cinching down or breaking off at some point. I'm not worried about that with these. The stitching on the uppers, or like, you have the vamp and everything, is actually looks very clean to me. I don't have any concerns really. There's like some loose threads here actually, but I might burn off, but that's not too big of a deal, I don't think. The mock toe area itself where that's stitched, that looks pretty nice. As far as the internal components of the boot, it is calf lined, and I believe this is their Ultra Flex system, which is a little different than like the Negan one they have out now, which is mostly all leather. This is, the insole is leather, and then I believe the front part is like a memory foam filler, and then the back half is cork. So there's like memory foam filler in the front, cork filler in the back, and I think that helps with like flexing your foot when you're moving it, so it's easier to bend. And then it obviously has the leather outsole here, and I guess this also looks like a leather midsole. So the filler is really where the more synthetic components come into play in the front half of the boot with that memory foam. And then I think it feels like there is actually. So this looks like, I guess, a boot liner, which is foam, and then I think this is probably calf leather. So this is on top of the insole, because the insole I can see here and feel it. It is hard veg tan leather. I don't know if you can see that. This also has the R in the inside of it, which is interesting. So I guess maybe it's a design aesthetic, or it really just is. They just want to make sure that whoever's doing QC knows that these were rejected, maybe. That's what I'm assuming the R means. But you can definitely see that this insole here is a firm piece of veg tan, and it's been nailed in. So that is veg tan, and then this just slips in on top of it. So which I really like. I will say I'm glad that they made this removable and it's not glued in or anything, because if you don't like the memory foam in there, or you don't like the feel of it or vibe of it, aesthetics, you could just probably, what I might do is trace this onto a leather hide I have and make my own veg tan insole covers, which I think would be pretty cool. So that's just something to keep in mind for the inside of these boots. Another thing I'm seeing here is that the tongue of the boots, it's not gusseted, but it's not lined. So like the inside of the boot is lined, but the tongue is actually just the cordovan itself, which is really cool, because I always like when you can just see the other side of the cordovan as well. And it has more of that fiber structure I was talking about. You can see it where it actually does have more of a leather appearance to it, which is kind of neat to see. Let's see this boot. This boot has it too. I'm not sure if this is like from the membrane itself, or if it's some kind of dye or something that got stuck on the leather right here. It looks like it could be dye, but it doesn't. It seems like it could also just be part of the leather. I don't know. It's on the inside of the tongue, so it's not a big deal either way, but it is just something to be aware of. All right, so as far as sizing for these boots, this is 7.5. Spoilers if you saw earlier. It is on the rod last, which is not a last that I believe I have with my other boots from Meermin. I might have it on their Oxfords that I got. This is a more voluminous last, similar to, I believe that on the website they call it a sister to their Hawk last, which is definitely wider in the toe box than like the Hero last, which is what they use in a lot of Chelsea boots, and it's definitely narrower. I think with the Hero, I go with the size 8. This is 7.5, which checks out what Meermin recommends on their website. They recommend with this last going one full size down from your US size. My US size is 8.5C on the brand active device. This is 7.5, and it fits very well. I did try it on, and it fits very similar to the Hawk boot, and also 7.5. Let me see if I can get a little comparison between the two. Looks pretty similar, I would say, at least from the back. You know, it's interesting. They have all these different lasts. Like looking at these, I can't even tell the difference. I don't know why. Maybe they have a much better reason for it than I do. Like, why do you need all these lasts that are super similar to each other? Couldn't you just use one? Like, I'm just not sure why they have so many different lasts with maybe like minute differences between them. Maybe this is better for dress shoes and it has a slimmer toe box in the Hawk boot, but it's just interesting that like every time I compare Meermin boots, I feel like all of the lasts are very similar to each other, except for like the Hero last, which is noticeably different than the rest of them. So let's do a weight comparison next for these boots and see how they fit or weigh. The fit's good already, as I confirmed. I thought it was dead. That was scary. 1 pound, 8.2 ounces. Okay. 1 pound, 8.2 ounces. I'm on a roll with these boots recently. They have been lining up in weight for both feet. That's nice. And then let's see. So that was 1 pound, 8.2 ounces. This one feels lighter. 1 pound, 6.2 ounces. So yeah, this is a noticeably heavier boot, just holding it in the hand. They are the same size. It might be because of this leather outsole. Maybe the leather outsole is making it heavier. I'm not really sure, but you can feel in the hand, this one definitely has more heft to it. Could be that the rubber outsole just weighs a little bit less, but something to keep in mind. So overall, I am very happy with this purchase, especially since I bought them for $215 as factory seconds. For that price, $15 shipping, so really it's $230 for Shell Cordovan boots with really no super noticeable flaws. Really, I think the main flaw is really where this stitch probably punched through the leather, but it's been fixed, so it's not really that noticeable at all. I think for $215, this is a very good buy. I'm excited to see how this leather, this Shell Cordovan will age over time with the whiskey finish on it, and then also the creasing, how that's going to look, especially in the toe box here where the split toe is. I'm curious to see how that'll look and age over time. So this was, as I mentioned, part of the factory second sale, which was running at the end of October. So these aren't available on the website right now. On the website now, if you want Shell Cordovan, they do have like their service boots, like the jumper boots, and I believe those are cap toe though. So they don't have any Norwegian Split-Toe service boots on their website right now, and they don't have any, especially in Shell, but I don't think they have any at all available. Sometimes, and I messaged Meermin a month or two ago and asked if they were going to do kind of like a custom MTO event, where they usually do that every year, where you can basically customize boots to your specifications. If that comes back out this fall at all, you could go that route of getting Norwegian Split-Toe boot and then getting the Shell Cordovan that you would like. Otherwise, you're kind of limited to the options that are available on the site right now until they come out with another factory second sale, whenever that would be. They do have, I think most of the shell on their website right now is like their heritage shell, where you don't really know the tannery it's from, but it is from the United States. If that's like a big deal to you, they do at least tell you that much. And those are around the $350-ish price, full price, which I think is still a pretty good deal for Shell Cordovan, especially since those aren't factory seconds. Those are just new boots, Shell Cordovan. I think that's a good price, $350. The other ones, I think they do have a pair of Horween on their website that's a service boot and it's in black. That's going to be, because it's Horween, over $500. I don't know that I'd go that route. I mean, if you really want a pair of Horween service boots, well, I mean, it's Horween leather. Why not? I guess Horween leather is always going to be very expensive, probably close to $1,000. So if you like the look of those boots for $500 something, that's probably as good as a deal you're going to get for Shell Cordovan. So that's for Horween, at least for Horween Shell Cordovan, that's about as good as you're going to get. So I think that's a good value if that's something you're interested in. As far as other sales from Meermin, because the factory second sale is a very good sale they have, keep in mind that this is November. We are reaching close to Thanksgiving, and that means Black Friday is coming up. Meermin, from my own personal experience, they do run a Black Friday sale pretty much every year. So I would be on the lookout for that, this holiday season. Black Friday sale, maybe sign up for like their newsletter if you're interested in that, or just go on their website during like Black Friday and see what they have, because I know they do have a lot of discounts available then. So a quick correction, we did a little more research and they do have one pair of Norwegian Split-Toes on the website right now, and it is in their Autumn Waxy Kudu. So it would actually probably look fairly similar to this boot, just in kudu. If that's something you're interested in, it's going to be a roughly similar color, but it's going to have more of that intense, distinctive grain that kudu has. If that's something you're interested in, you really want a split-toe boot. Other options from other brands, Grantstone has a large selection of split-toe boots. I think theirs are called the Ottawa boots, and those look very nice to me. They might have some Shell Cordovan available on their website. They're always kind of refreshing their stock, so if that's something that interests you, definitely check that out. The Grantstone one will probably also be a little more polished as far as appearance goes. You're not going to have to worry about any like threads or anything hanging off typically. Other options might be, if you're wanting to go up in price even more, you could go with Alden, which is going to be, they have the Alden Indies. That's not a split toe though. That's just a regular mock toe. There's an ambulance or a fire truck. That sounds like a fire truck that is going to put out a fire or start one, if this is Fahrenheit 451. So Alden's, you can get the Alden Indy boot, which is a mock toe boot. It's not split toe like this. It just has the mock toe on it. You can get Chrome XL for that, but that's going to cost you upwards of $600 just for standard Chrome XL, which if you like the aesthetic and you're into it, by all means get that. I think it's a little bit overpriced. You can also get, they have Shell Cordovan in the Indy boot for Alden, and that's going to cost you over $900. Could be over $1,000 depending on the makeup and the color. If you're willing to spend that money, that's also another option. If you're wanting to stay lower in price and you like the look of the split toe here, then I would say stick with Meermin, which you're limited to right now unless they release some other ones. The Autumn Kudu or Grantstone might be your better bet because they have a larger selection to choose from, and there are a couple of Grantstone split toes that I'm looking into getting at some point soon that I will probably do a review on as well. So that's kind of where your options are for this particular style of boot. All right, guys, that has been my review of the Meermin Norwegian Split-Toe. I don't know why I keep touching this part here. It's just kind of fun to demonstrate that it is a split toe. The Norwegian Split-Toe here with Heritage Shell Cordovan from an undisclosed U.S. tannery, family owned, according to their website, and whiskey. It's a very whiskey. It doesn't smell like whiskey, but it does smell good. Another video, another time. Don't worry about it, guys. I got you covered. So yeah, that's been my review of these boots. I'm going to end it here because some football's on TV that I really want to watch. But that's been my review of these, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back soon with more videos, reviews, and some other content that I just thought of. Thanks, guys.